All right, let's get started here. Can you guys hear me? Welcome, Carla. Welcome, Lisa. I'm actually here on the right day and the right time. Yeah, I had a couple emails from you guys, and I'm thinking, wait a second. Did I just get that messed up? Did I get that screwed up? I've had such a weird week this week. So I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. We were supposed to have lecture Tuesday and Thursday, but I accidentally got that week screwed up and did it on Monday. So if you were wondering where we were on Tuesday, I actually did it a day early. So yeah, it just happens. I have such a weird work schedule, and I share custody with my ex-husband, my 4-year-old daughter, and every week it's a different schedule, so it changes all the time. So I think what screwed me up was we had a really bad windstorm over the weekend and knocked out power, and I was all freaked out that I wasn't gonna be able to do the lecture, and I think I just, it just kind of escaped me. So good morning. In any event, at least it was early and I did it. So there was nothing wrong. I know you guys were worried about me. I appreciate that. So it was very nice. And that was the first time I've ever done that before. So in the 6 years of teaching for IU, that was the first time. But, hey, it happens. How are you guys doing? There you go. No excuses then, right, Carla? Well, hopefully, did you listen to the recording of Monday? It was funny because I was like, nobody's in here. I don't know why no one's here. I was kind of wondering why it was so empty. Okay. Yeah, coding is definitely a different monster for sure. Okay, good. If you didn't watch it, I went over your discussion, your assignment too. So if you have any questions, since we weren't able to do this live because I got the schedule screwed up, let me know today. We should have some time. So good. Well, I hope you guys are having a great week. Sorry again about this group of the schedule. It's just one of those things. One of those weeks for me, I guess. But we're back on track, and it is week 2. This is live lecture 2. We're going to be discussing a few things today about different strategies of advertising that you may not have thought about, or maybe you've seen it before and you just never knew exactly what it was. Just some things to think about. So let's go ahead and go forward here. Before we get started, do you guys have any questions about anything? Besides, where were we on Tuesday, right? Where the heck were you on Tuesday? Okay, let's get started here. I don't know if you guys ever saw this ad. I thought this was kind of funny. This was posted many years ago, but this is a billboard ad. I believe this is, what's his name? Oh, he was a famous architect designer, and he sold a lot of his stuff in Target at one point, and the name is escaping me. So if you know it, chime it out. I had actually a couple of his pieces. But this is his tea kettle that was in a JCPenney's billboard. And what's funny about this is many people called in saying that this tea kettle actually looked a lot like Hitler if you kind of squinted your eyes a little bit, especially from far away. Kind of resembled him. So this is kind of a way for us to think, okay, we really have to look at, we really have to look at things sometimes with more than one eye, because you might get this connotation, this negative positive space playing out in a way that you may not intended. Yes. Oh, was it Michael Graves? Is it like popping into my head here? I had some of his pieces. I think I had a telephone. I might have had a different type of tea kettle that he had out, not this one. But anyway, yeah, so I thought this was kind of funny. So, it's always good to kind of get a second eye on, I always like to put stuff, if I know it's going to be looked at from way far away. I know billboards, you can't really do it the way you want to do it for mock-up. But if you know it's going to be a poster or a sign or a billboard, at least put it up on the wall, walk, you know, kind of feet away from it so you can see maybe things that you never really would have thought may pop up that you might want to fix. So just kind of a couple of things. All right, so have you ever heard the term of guerrilla marketing before? Okay, so when we think of guerrilla, we think of like what? Like out of the box, crazy, out of control, no rules, right? Like guerrilla warfare. Okay, so once I go through these slides and show you examples, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, I saw this before. So guerrilla marketing is a strategy that some designers take and some brands take to make make more awareness of their brand or product or thing that they're selling. And it can be very, very effective. Have you ever heard of, they were doing this a long time ago where they were popping up out of nowhere and they'd have people dancing. What's that called? I don't know why I can't think today. They choreographed, you know, dances that would just pop out of anywhere. Flash mobs, there you go. So flash mobs is kind of an example, could be an example of guerrilla marketing if it is representing a brand. So that's an example of one. Thank you. I don't know why I'm just losing my mind here. So guerrilla marketing is basically an advertising strategy in which low-cost, unconventional means, thank you, so like graffiti, sticker bombing, flash mobs, there we go, are utilized, I didn't know I had that on there, often in a localized fashion or large network of individual cells to convey or promote a product or an idea. So it's a way for maybe in a certain localized area. This wouldn't be done nationwide unless it's shown obviously on TV. This would be more of a local area where maybe they don't want to spend as much. And I think you could spend a lot even still, but you know, if you do want to keep costs down, you can create a bigger impact and more of a buzz, more attention in this way. Here's UNICEF. They created this really interesting idea where they're taking a vending machine, and UNICEF, it's a United States fund for, you know, clean water, kind of raising awareness about water. And so this is a vending machine, and instead of it having buttons, you know, to choose for like a really flavorful good drink like a soda or whatever energy drink, it's actually showing, and it's hard to see here, it's actually showing each button is a different type of disease that you can get from water. So it's kind of raising awareness, yeah, about, you know, all the contaminants and all the diseases that you can get from the water, and the money goes into, obviously, the fund. So it's kind of a really interesting way, a different approach. It makes it more memorable. See, when you have something so memorable, people remember it. You know, the experience is memorable, so people remember it. So that's really what brands want to do, is create an experience. So this is definitely an experience somebody would tell somebody about or always remember. So, you know, in that regards, it's effective. Now, this actually happened to me in Tampa when I lived in Florida. Let me read this here. The term guerrilla marketing is easily traced to guerrilla warfare, which utilizes atypical tactics to achieve a goal in a competitive and unforgiving environment. So this picture here is showing these orange bikes, and this actually, I found this online, but this happened to me in real life when I was living in Florida many years ago, over like 8 years ago. I remember I was driving down the road in our local community, and I saw this orange bike in the middle, and they call it the devil strip because it's kind of like in the middle of the 2 lanes of road with grass and palm trees. Well, there's this like orange bike, completely spray painted, just standing right up against one of the light poles, and I'm thinking, what in the world? And I saw it there, and there was no sign or anything. It was just sitting there. Then the next day, I remember going down another road down our same area in our neighborhood. Another bike, orange, spray painted, just on the side of like the parking lot, just standing there. And I'm like, what is going on? I remember my husband at the time was like, you know, I keep seeing these orange bikes everywhere. What is going on? There's no signs. Like, what's going on here? Is this an art installation? Well, 2 weeks after that, we did notice that a local gym came in, and their whole theme was, their whole brand and their color scheme was this bright orange. I forget what the gym was called, but that was their way of getting your attention in the neighborhood. And then when they launched and opened, it created this buzz. So yeah, so there's ways that you can do that to kind of create this like whole, experience. So the concept of guerrilla marketing was invented as an unconventional system of promotions that relies on time, energy, and imagination rather than a big marketing budget. Typical guerrilla marketing campaigns are unexpected and unconventional, potentially interactive, and consumers are targeted in unexpected places. So here's some examples. They're kind of small. The one is showing the manhole cover, and they're kind of showing you, I'm not exactly sure what the message says there, but I'm sure it has something to do with, kind of paying attention to people who are handicapped, or, maybe something that's going to potentially hurt them. The other one is like these little guys standing up there. I don't know if this is like a memorial. And then you have the 3M with the money in between the glass, and it says something about if you can break this glass, you can have this money, but it's a secure glass, so it's supposed to be really super strong. And then you have this really cool escalator, which has on the risers of the actual escalator is people kind of riding this roller coaster. So it's interactive and kind of very interesting at the very bottom. I believe this is kind of a foreign ad for another place in a different country. You can't read it in the English, but it's a promotional ad, or promotional guerrilla ad for this local amusement park. So there are definitely, and I'll get you these links. I can post this in announcements because it's not clickable right now, but there's some links that you can, if you type in Pinterest or Google, guerrilla marketing, you can see other examples too. But I wanted to share that with you because I thought that was kind of cool. Those flash mobs, again, were used to, you've seen it on TV, maybe to raise awareness about something in your local community, or to just kind of promote a certain brand or experience. Yeah, very interesting. So, there's other ways there are other strategies that we talked about that are also effective if appropriate for, whatever project that you're working on. All right. So going forward here, week 2 lab lecture 1, when I met up on Monday and everybody else was met up on Tuesday because I had the wrong day, I went over, actually I didn't show the example. I wanted to show that real quick here before we get started too, because I totally forgot. I wanted to show at least one example of the creative brief that I thought was pretty effective. And then I'm going to go over where we went over the 11 advertising strategies and we showed examples. We went over your discussion 2, and then your week 2 assignment 2, which was your billboard ad. I did an overview and demo. Oh, you're disappointed. Yeah, well, it's just one of those things. We're going to have a little quiz review, just nothing that's obviously going to mark against you or for you or anything like that. It's just a review of stuff that I went over in week 1. Terminology, and this isn't stuff that's actually going to be on anything going forward in this class in regards to what you're working on. It's just something that I just wanted to do, just kind of keep some of the words and terminology fresh in your head, kind of keep thinking about things that are related to what we are doing. We're going to also look at examples of illusion advertisements. Have you ever heard of illusion advertisements? Okay, I probably have seen them, but okay. Take a look at some of those. Those are pretty creative and interesting. And then we'll go right into your week 2 assessment 2. I'll just do a demo, and then if we have time, if you want to show anything, if you have any questions, we'll just kind of open it up. Okay, so what I want you to do, I'm going to read these questions out loud and just kind of pick what you think is the best answer, and we'll just kind of go forward and see how much you retained. All right, so advertising blank brands, groups, and causes, and ultimately sells products and calls people to action. Does it incorporate, combine, or differentiate? What do you guys think is the best answer? Excuse me. Okay. A, B, or C? Carla says A. And Lisa says C. So we'll see what's the answer we're looking for here is C. Good try, Carla. Lisa, good job. It differentiates. Remember, it kind of makes it, hopefully makes it different than all the other competitors. That's what advertising tries to do. Good try, good try. What about this one? Which form of advertising is shown above? Public service advertising, in-game advertising, or commercial consumer advertising? Yep, so public service advertising. I don't know if you guys can see, it's a little hard. I should probably make this a little bit more clear, but it's the cigarette. But in the ashes are forests kind of on fire. So we're talking about fire awareness. Good. So public service advertising is advertising that seeks to further the common good. What about this one? Which form of advertising is shown above? Public service announcement, in-game, or commercial advertising? What is that? Angry Birds. Yep, in-game advertising. Good. So those are little pop-ups that come up when you're playing games. Good. So whether product placement, live billboard feeds, or ads embedded into games is often well received by appropriately targeted gamer audiences. So sometimes you might have a client that maybe it's not necessarily a game that they're promoting, but it has that their target audience are gamers, so it'd be something appropriate to have either as a placement in a billboard feed or ads embedded into games. Okay, this one is an ad. It looks like for obviously for breast cancer awareness. Which form of advertising is shown above? Public service, cause advertising, or commercial consumer? Very good, cause advertising. So though initiated by commercial concerns, seeks to raise funds for nonprofit organizations or raise awareness of a social issue, and runs in paid media sites. So that's the differences between. Good. What about this one? Which form of advertising is shown above? Public service, cause, or commercial? And it just looks like Formula One. I guess it's a toothpaste. Yep, good. So it's commercial consumer. And that pretty much promotes brands and commodities. Welcome, Daniel. By informing consumers, it is also used to promote individuals, groups, corporations, and manufacturers. Welcome, Daniel. We're just going over a little quiz review here. So choose your best answer. And this is a slide that we're going over from week 1. Okay, which one is not a type of ad agency? In-house, full service, independent, or interactive? All right, we got all kinds of answers here. C, D. I think the only one no one really guessed was B. We got A. All right. It's a trick question. They're all ad agencies, so good try. I tricked you all. Yeah, we went over all 4 of these. I gotcha. Yep, so we went over all 4 of these in week 1, just kind of talked about each one. So yes, so they're all definitely agencies. That's funny. Okay, advertising, I won't trick you anymore. Advertising campaigns are the groups of advertising messages which are blank in nature. Different, similar, or opposite? I need to wake you guys up, right? All right, everybody says B. Good job. Similar, yeah. So the key word here is campaign. You think it's a theme. It has to be similar. It has to be cohesive. Great job. All right, which advertising approach is the ad above utilizing? Is it authentic, comparison, inspirational, or exaggeration? All right, you guys, good job. Inspirational, yeah. Nike usually has those inspirational ads. This is signage, almost like a billboard here showing this woman running. Good, perfect. What about this one? Big bowl of mac and cheese. Authentic, reasonable, inspirational, or exaggeration? Although we like that big bowl of mac and cheese, you are right. D is exaggeration. They're kind of making it bigger than what it is in real life, exaggerating it. Good. What about this one? It's a Gatorade kind of punching out the water. Which advertising approach is the ad above utilizing? Reasonable, excuse me, authentic, visual analogy, or inspirational? Okay, we got all C's. Good. Yeah, we talked about visual analogy. So if this Gatorade bottle was a boxer in a ring, you know, what is the message here? So yeah, it's a visual analogy. And usually these are very effective, so because they're so different. Very good. What about this one? Which advertising approach is the ad at left utilizing? Comparison, life experience, visual analogy, or reasonable rational? Showing an iPhone and a Galaxy side by side. That's pretty common sense, right? Yeah. Comparison. Yep. Good. That can be very effective. And this is the comparison advertising. Do you believe that this is more emotional or motivational, or do you think it's more informational? Or both? Yeah, I think it's more informational, although there is a little bit of motivation there with the headline. But yeah, I definitely agree because it lists all those comparisons there. Good job. Which advertising approach is the ad at left utilizing? Reasonable, rational, life experience, authenticity advertising, or the problem is the solution? Now read the title. It's a little tricky, isn't it? So it's the real thing, baby. Yep, authenticity. Good try though, Lisa. That was a tricky one. It's the real thing. So they're saying, you know, this is no imitation. This is the real thing. So authenticity. Good. Good try. All right, good job, you guys. You guys did a great job. Just, you know, kind of refreshes you on certain things, just certain strategies and just keywords that we were talking about. So excellent job. Sometimes we forget to. All right, let's take a look at some illusion ads. I know some of you guys said you don't know what that is, but I think once you see it, you'll say, oh, yeah, I've seen those before. So let's take a look at this. This can be very effective too. And, you know, if you have enough money for your budget and if it's appropriate for your project, this could be something that can be very effective. Here's one the Red Cross did, and it's kind of like a little signage on a wrap on a bus here, or I guess on a truck, and they're parking in front of this kind of this little alley of the city. And what's neat about it is almost like they took a picture and made it look like what it would look like if a disaster struck. And then they properly positioned it in a perspective of where it would be. So they're kind of giving you an illusion of what could happen if a disaster struck. You know, maybe you need to raise more awareness about this so that you can give more money to this this organization, so that, you know, if this were to happen, you know, they have the fundage to help. Kind of a neat little illusion ad there. This one is more for your skin, and this is kind of showing a little pore here with a guy, and there's an actual guy in there kind of cleaning out this pore and this billboard. Kind of gross, I think, but, you know, kind of definitely effective if you are looking to get some Attention. So it says clean pores, fight pimples. And I don't know how they get a guy up there all the time. I don't know if he's like mechanical or what, but it looks like he's moving and grooving up there. So who knows? Probably gets paid lots of money. This one's kind of gross. This one's for a nose hair trimmer. And it's strategically placed on these power lines so that the hair is coming right out of that nose. So it's kind of like has those holes in it, and it says nose hair trimmer safety cutting system. So look at those people kind of looking up at this. There's another one. It's kind of funny and definitely effective. It gets your attention, right? And then that kind of makes you think, okay, are my nose hairs that long? Here's another one I thought was kind of really cool, Optical Illusion by Garnier Fructis. And they're showing this guy here, which is kind of cool because they sell to both men and women. And in this ad, if you looked at it, it almost looks like just his beard is this long beard, but then obviously there's a woman standing in front of him. You can see the back of her jeans, and it's kind of a neat little illusion there. It took a minute, yeah. This one combines an artist that is known for these hand paintings that AT&T collaborated with for their ads. So it's kind of an illusion of these hands being these animals. Just really kind of is a nice focal point to the product, kind of sets the stage to like grab your attention and to really look into this deeper and becomes more memorable. And that's really what it's all about. How can you grab the attention of somebody amongst all the other ads out there and really kind of hold your attention and you remember it. So it's memorable. Here's another one, and I'm not exactly sure if this is, some of these might be kind of, I don't want to say fake, but mocked up, but this would be kind of cool if it was true. It's like an ad placed by a baking soda company, Royale. And they show this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-layer cake, chocolate cake on this building with their product strategically placed here. Maybe makes you want to go out and make some cake with us. It's a huge piece of cake. Here's one is a PSP controller, which is kind of interesting. And again, this might be a mock-up. I'm not sure if this is real either, but very cool nonetheless. And they're kind of giving that illusion of this being kind of part of the real world by having the tree edge being a part of the billboard with this little spaceship kind of flying around. So you're like seeing it in a different perspective. Definitely makes you want to maybe pick one up and play. They're kind of saying it's like, interactive and fun here. This one I believe is a mock-up because it doesn't quite look that real, but it would be kind of really interesting to see this on the road. It would definitely make me want to grab a candy bar. Yeah, a Mars candy bar. It looks delicious, and seeing this on the road would be very interesting and capture attention for sure. And I'm sure you guys have seen things like this before. Here's another one, which is kind of neat, utilizing the whole manhole cover with the steam coming up. And it's Folgers and the city, and their little ad is over top of this manhole. And it says here, "Hey, city that never sleeps, wake up, Folgers." So obviously this is in New York. Yeah, and everybody's kind of walking past it, seeing the steam. Makes them want to get some coffee. It's a cute little way of kind of like roll-up marketing in a way too, but it's an illusion as well. Here's like kind of a creepy one, I thought. Papa John's, kind of a way to stick these little ads onto your peephole so that when you look through, you see this little delivery. It looks like a delivery guy there. I don't know, it's kind of creepy to me. And then obviously this would work only on doors that would have people's, apartments and stuff like that. But kind of interesting approach, and could be definitely effective or creepy. I don't know. Here is a toydirect.com bus wrap on a double-decker bus. to make it look like a toy. And they have these like little batteries put in place as if this is a toy bus. So not only is it, it becomes the toy. So it's kind of a neat way to advertise. And again, this is the escalator. I thought this was kind of cool. To see it in movement would be really cool to see, just kind of going up and down. You kind of just want to stare at it. This one is kind of cute. So this guy really is like just a cutout, a printout, and slipped over a telephone pole. And so this is not a real guy. It's just kind of, it looks like he's, one of these strongman competitions, holding up this telephone pole. I thought this was kind of funny. And below his little his little dress there, the skirt, yeah, kind of I guess it's like, has like a website there of what's going on. Need a new barbecue? An easy way to just quickly promote a business that has, obviously something to do with a barbecue, with just adding a little, if you could find a manhole cover that's similar to this, or, obviously put a plate over it with that. I think the manhole cover is like that. So I don't know. I've never really seen a manhole cover like that before, but, just putting a little flipper next to it is, and the words next to it can definitely be effective. I thought these were kind of cool. These are just kind of bike helmets. There's all kinds of different types of illusion ads you can do with that as well. Some are kind of creepy. This one is neat. McDonald's using a light post to activate like the coffee as if it's pouring into the cup here in an overly large size. Yeah, it's pretty neat, huh? I thought that was kind of cool. And you can see the size ratio of the woman underneath there with the cup. I took a class whenever I was in undergrad at La Roche. I took this really cool class. It was called 3D design or something like that. We had a really, really interesting instructor and professor, and he had us doing he would have us take normal everyday items like a fork or, a rubber ducky, things that are kind of small, and blow them up like 2,000%. We'd have to make these huge, pieces at the end of our final and then strategically place them around the campus. I think I did pixie sticks and I put them in like our break room area. Huge, made out of PVC pipes. But what's really neat about that is it kind of gets your mind a little bit more open to possible other ideas that you may not have thought about. And this is a good idea for, gaining that attention in a different way, a different approach. So sometimes we're so used to doing things the same size, looking at things the same size, but going outside of that can really be super effective in many ways to attract attention. I remember a student did a big rubber ducky, almost like the one, well, it probably wasn't as big as the one in that was in all those rivers, but it was big, and we had this pond in front of the college, and he put it in there, and man, it got so much attention, just floating in that pond. It was really, really cool. Some really neat projects there. Here is one. What do you guys see here? A booty, a butt. Okay, look closer. Look closer at what it's advertising. You see shoes, so it's advertising shoes. So now can you see 2 feet? Okay. Yep, and we all know sex sells. So this is a kind of an interesting approach to illusion, where you kind of look at it and you think, oh, this is like a back of a woman's body, but really it isn't. When you look closer, it's heels. So it kind of can definitely make you think and then make it memorable. Yes, definitely would grab attention, and it works really well in this context because they're trying to sell these shoes that are, appealing and sexy. So they're kind of putting that together in a different way. There you go, Carla. You're right. But they wouldn't admit to it. They'd be like, oh yeah, that's shoes. Here's another approach. And nowadays there's so many different ways to advertise. And this would be something really interesting for cities to, and this could be something that I actually haven't seen this happen yet, but maybe in New York and big cities, they are kind of advertising on the tops of vehicles. What a great way to do that if you have a lot of audiences that are kind of above the city looking down. So it's just kind of a neat approach to that. I haven't seen it here either. Of course, you wouldn't see it unless you were in a building. But I know in Pittsburgh, I don't think they're really doing too much of this. But it's kind of a neat idea for sure. Obviously the whole car would be wrapped to be fully effective, but kind of an interesting approach to that. All right, so I just wanted to review a couple things, show you guys some different strategy guerrilla marketing and some illusion advertisements, because sometimes there are different approaches that we can take, rather than the conventional way that can be more effective. And it's kind of neat to look at those kind of inspirational ideas. Get you all excited and inspired at the same time. All right, so let's get started here. We're going to look at your assessment 2. Did anybody get started yet on your assignment 2? Or assessment? Daniel, you have? Okay. Not yet? Okay. A lot of you guys did a great job, by the way, on your, like I said before, on Monday when I accidentally met on Monday. You guys did a great job on your creative briefs. A lot of hard work. You guys, I could tell that you really were thinking about, the target audience and, kind of keeping in mind the message, the overall message, which is great because it gets you in the mind frame of knowing kind of the direction that you want to go for this project. So that's wonderful. Okay, so before I even dive into this, I did want to show an example of one student that I pulled very quickly. And I just wanted to show for the assignment 1 example here. And I don't know why I just pulled one. I just thought, I'll just show one. There's a lot of different ones, but I just pulled one for now. So excuse me here. So if you are this person, there were a lot of good ones in here. I just kind of grabbed this one because it was something that I thought was simple and easy to show here. Get rid of this. All right, let me zoom out here. So I just thought this was a nicely designed overall creative brief, and evenly spaced out. There are some alignment issues here, but for the most part, it's easy to follow, and bulletin points are always nice to have. It goes into each of these points here. So if you are one of those people that kind of just fill out something very quickly in like a Word document and didn't really format it, and I mentioned that this is kind of what I'm suggesting, kind of making it look more designed in that regards. All right, so good job. I know there were a lot of you that did do that, and they were very strong, so good job. And like I said, if I didn't show anybody else's, don't think that yours was terrible at all. I just pulled one very quickly here. All right, so let's go forward here and take a look at your assessment 2. Some of you guys got started, some not. And basically, this is a spin-off from your billboard design. So once you're done with that, the web banner ad will be the next step. So let's go ahead and read through this. All right, so you're gonna, obviously the idea here is keeping it cohesive. It's a campaign. So as discussed in our assignment for this week, repetition is vital for a cohesive campaign. Sometimes in a campaign, designers are asked to create the same ad in 2 different mediums or sizes. When this happens, the designer needs to find a balance between maintaining as much repetition as possible between the 2 ads while still making any changes necessary to make that ad work well in the new format. For example, a quarter-page ad cannot be stretched to fit a half-page ad in another magazine. The new dimensions require some adjustment, but the need for repetition requires minimal changes. So the idea is not to just, distort and stretch to a specific size, your billboard to the web ad, but to actually create a completely new web ad based on the specifics here, specifications, but keeping it very similar to your billboard ad as far as the elements go, keeping it cohesive. Okay, so in addition to the billboard advertisement, Most Home wants to run a web banner ad to attract people to its booth at the home show. To make sure they are easily recognized as the same campaign and to keep costs down, Most Home would like to adapt the billboard ad to the web banner ad format rather than create a new ad. So your assessment instructions for this assessment: adapt the billboard ad you created for this week's assignment into a web banner ad. Because a web banner ad is clickable, adjust the call to action as necessary. Be sure not to distort any imagery or text, and be sure to make any needed adjustments to make the best use of the space available. Do not just shrink down the billboard ad. So the web banner ad dimensions are 468 pixels wide by 60 pixels high. Your color mode is RGB, and your resolution is 72 pixels per inch. When you're done, you're going to export it as a PDF and submit the PDF only. You can definitely name it the file shown here with your first and last name. Any questions about that? And we'll kind of go through how to set this up here. Okay. Before I actually go into the demo, I did want to, and most of you guys probably saw this, I did post a student example from a different class. This student I did not have in this class, so somebody else. But I thought this was really interesting, and I wanted you guys to take a look, because this is kind of what you guys, well, should be, not the design, but overall the pieces that you guys will be producing for your final piece. Right now you guys are working hopefully on the billboard ad, which is shown below here by the student. They designed this billboard ad. And then on the right bottom is the web banner ad. So you can kind of see how that was transformed, but very cohesive. Notice how this student is using hierarchy with some of the imagery used, how the alignment is, what the focal point is, and then also the wording. Okay, and look at the font. The font is very digital looking. So it kind of goes with the whole idea that it's online, it's an app. Then the tear sheet is on the top. You guys will be working on that next week. And then the photo booth, the trade show booth is on the upper right. And you guys will have, I believe, I think your assessment 3 starts with your sketches, and then your week 4 is the booth design. But this is basically the final of what you guys will be doing. So hopefully you'll come up with something very cohesive like this. Looking at this, I can definitely see a cohesiveness with this. It's using some imagery from each of the pieces that you saw, obviously in the trade show booth and the tear sheet and all of that. So I wanted to show this to you because I think this is a great way to really see how this all comes together nicely, cohesively. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back into, you guys remember this, here, let me reset my workspace here. Can you guys see my Illustrator screen here? Okay, just to make sure you guys can. All right, so the last time that we met up, that I met up by accident, we did a billboard here. And I started out with kind of like 3 different, I started out with an idea here, excuse me, using a quote about burglary, a fact that I found, and then use this information that we needed to put on the billboard, call out information, as well as the imagery. And I kind of tried a couple different concepts, design concepts. That's why you see 3 here. So you don't have to do 3. I just did 3. But I'm using that whole idea of using facts for, my theme. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. So I'm kind of persuading hopefully the target audience to really think about how much it happens, how quickly every 13 seconds a home is burglarized. So when you start thinking about that, it's like, okay, I need to start doing something about this. Secure your home now. Now, the only thing I could probably put in here is, something about the home show, like in the example that student did, find out more. One of the call outs was find out how at the home store, at the home show, you can put something like that. Here, secure your home now. Find out more at the home show. Now that's putting more words on here. I could probably, at this point, delete that part out and maybe have secure your home now on maybe the tear sheet, because you are at the home show. Think of it as the tear sheet will be at the home show, so you don't really have to say find out more at the home show. At that point, you could just say secure your home now, or, as something about the lock. So thinking about that. So now I'm going to take this billboard. I'm going to, kind of hone in on a concept that I like. And I'm going to create a web ad that is cohesive with this. The only thing is I'm going to create a completely new ad, different size. So they're saying in this web ad size, let me get the pixel dimensions here. I just lost my page. Is 468 by 60. So I would just create a new ad. So I just go up to File, New. 468 by 60. So I would change inches to pixels. And then I would type in the dimensions that were given. So 468 by 60. I don't know, I keep forgetting about that. Okay. So where the width is 468 and the height would be 60. And if I go to advanced options, I want to make sure the color mode is RGB. And then where it says the raster effects, go ahead and change to 72. And then click create. Now you can see, compared to this, it's a much thinner, less, it's not as blocky. It's a little thinner and longer. So you definitely, you don't want to try to stretch this. So like, for instance, if I wanted to go with this concept, I'm going to just do select all and then copy. And then I'm going to go over here and paste, Command V and paste. Now look how much bigger this is in comparison to that spot. Now I have students that actually group this all together and will try to do this. Is this the right way to do it, you think? Okay, and then they'll submit this. Do you think that's the right way to do it? No, right? And I've seen, I do see this happen a lot. So no, we don't want to distort it. Anytime you distort imagery, it becomes unprofessional looking, especially the logo. If the logo is shown in any other way than the original way, it degrades the logo because you're seeing it in a different way. Yep. And then the type being stretched, anytime you stretch and distort type, it becomes unreadable. So what you want to do, and what I would suggest, is just go ahead and paste that in there and just use your scale tool or hold down the shift key and just get it, as small as you can to that same size. Maybe the width of it, not the height. Holding the shift key down or using the scale tool, proportionately scaling it. So probably like around here. And then what I would do is just ungroup it and then size your background and everything else appropriately. Now what you might need to do is kind of rearrange some things. So let's say this isn't really going to fit because it's going to get way too small, and I'll show you here. If I were to group this and then shift, select, and drag it down, look how small this becomes. Now that's not really readable, right? That's really kind of small. Let me see what size this is here. There's my type. So that's about 9.76. That's really, especially this gets super small. It's probably about 6 or 5 point. So that's a little bit too small, right? So what we're gonna do is just kind of keep the same look, right? But kind of rearrange things a little differently. And it's okay if you kind of rearrange things as long as you keep certain things cohesive. So what I'm gonna try is I'm actually going to try to, oops, not do that. I'm gonna actually try to take my type tool and just bring this back up here. So maybe it's on one line and then just decrease it a little bit because right now that's about 22. So maybe about 21, that's pretty big. A little bit. And then, you know, obviously I'm going to make it centered with the square. So you can see I'm aligning it, making it still, you know, readable, but just a different way to align it. Same thing with this information on here. Did I group all this? No, okay. Obviously I can make that smaller. I can even, let's see here, keep all this. This is about, what are we looking at here? This is at 9 points. This is about 13. So I could probably definitely go down on this one in size. And then this one, I'm gonna keep that at that size. Go down a little bit with this one. So what I'm doing is just kind of trying to balance this where I'm trying to make sure it's not too crammed together. It has some space here. It's a little bit of a balance, but you know, I'm just trying to make it work. Keeping alignment very, very consistently here. Oops. Pull this over. And I wanted to make sure I have enough margin space, and that what that means is I don't want the type to be too close to the bottom or too close to the top. So maybe just kind of reducing certain things will definitely help with that. So I reduced the top to about 17 points, and I'm kind of moving everything and shifting everything around here so it's not too close to the bottom. That doesn't look too bad. I think maybe just pulling this up just a little bit more. I kind of like the space that I have here. I'm going to go down one more in point size so I can gain a little bit more in space. I still want to keep my headline big though. So that is the biggest headline. It doesn't look too bad. Now it's going to be, you know, it's definitely tight, but it works for this. You know, it's kind of, it's working. And then kind of play around with the logo and obviously the image. Now, if the image isn't working how you have it on your ad, this doesn't look too bad, but you still can't really see it. I'll kind of maybe pull it up a little bit, or I can even just make this really big. Oh, where'd I go? Where'd I go? There we go. So that it's more of an aesthetic here than anything. You know, maybe I don't need to show him completely, but I do have, you know, the lock here with the hand. And then what I'll do is I'll just clip this out once I want to see where it's at. Oops. Let me put a regular rectangle around this. Okay, let me do it in the size that we're 468 by 60. You put it right over top. This is how you do a clipping mask. You put it right over the top of where you want to clip it. And then you shift select what you want to clip, go up to object and choose clipping mask. It clips it right in there. Now the only thing is some of this stuff might be below that, so you may need to go to object, arrange, bring to front to make it show. And then what I would do is probably center this. I don't know, let's see what that looks like. There we go, because this is kind of centered over here. But yeah, that would definitely work. Now the only thing is I'm going to change the quote here. Remember what I said before about keeping everything the same except for the quote. So let me save this here, 245, assessment to my first and last name. So I'm gonna change that quote. But I have to choose something that's going to fit in here too. So this is actually a very short sentence, so I have to make sure it fits in there. So let me go ahead and grab, and I would just look up facts. I saved my facts in my actual lecture here. Let me pick that up. It was an infographic. I don't know if you guys remember this. Let me zoom out here. And I'm going to copy and paste it in here. I'm going to make it smaller, obviously, so I can see it. Jesus is huge. All right. So this is where I got my statistics from. So I took this from, where is it? Right here. So it looks like another quote that may work here is the 60% of burglars use forced entry. It's very short. So maybe that's something I can use instead of this. So 60% of burglars use forced entry. And then obviously, I could probably, let's see if I can get this a little bit bigger. Oops. There we go. Well, that looks pretty good. I could make this a smaller percentage if I were to go to character and bring up my type box here. And I went to show options. I can make this smaller percentage-wise if I wanted to. Just a couple things to think about if you don't want to do it like that. But you get it. So 60% of burglars use forced entry. Find out more at the home show. Maybe find out more about how to protect yourself at the home show. I don't know, something in regards to that. I'll just keep it short and sweet, because you know this is going to be about you know, home security system. This is a web ad and it should be clickable. So, you know, obviously think about that whenever you are creating this ad. This is going to be a clickable ad showing up in on a screen, either on a computer screen, mobile app, something in that regards. So on there, you don't necessarily have to, you know, I obviously am using the headline for this. If you have a lot of information on your billboard, which you shouldn't, because it's a billboard, you're going to definitely need to, you know, to edit it down for this. I may want to just leave it with the web address here. Keep it simple because it is clickable. If I do that, it's keeping it super simple and sweet, so people just click right to that. Or you just say, find out more at the home show and, you know, website. Visit our website. Something like that in that regards. But for the most part, everybody kind of knows that, you know, web ads are usually clickable. If you click on it, it's going to go right to their website. But it's always good to have a link there just in case they cannot, you know, if it's not clickable for some reason, you are able to have some type of web address to go to. All right. Now, this is already set in CMYK. This, you have to check. This is a billboard. If it is in CMYK, you might need to check your profile settings, your color settings for this. Oops, not color settings. Document color mode here. So and I didn't show this before you actually submit it, you'll want to go into File, Document, Color Mode for your billboards and choose CMYK color before you save that out. I forgot to tell you that before. This one, you don't have to do that. This is your web ad, and because it's going to be viewed on screen instead of print, this should be already in RGB and you won't need to really have to change it. Okay? Any questions about that? So you'll just need to save it out. Good. All right. Save it out as a PDF. Go File, Save As, PDF, save to the desktop. You can click on the PDF presets and choose smallest file size. That's fine. And then what I would suggest is just open it up. It may look a little pixelated depending upon how you view it. Let me show you what I mean, because this is a low res file. And depending on how you're viewing it. Right now I'm viewing it at 126, 142 now. If I zoom out to 100%, that's what it should look like. The picture on the right is getting a little bit more pixelated because I did blow that up more. So what I might want to do, remember how I showed you how to change the size for that? Because that will be an issue. That looks kind of not so good, right? Remember how I went into Photoshop and showed you how to change that? Yep. So what you need to do, let me open up Photoshop here, is open up that original file again. Remember how I showed you how to change that to a TIFF file before placing it? Let's go back, and here I'm searching for my picture file here. Hold on a second. The original file. And you're going to need to do this anyway, because if you just use the one that you have in the billboard, it's not going to be the right color space. So open the original, not the TIFF file, the original JPEG that's in that folder. In Photoshop, you're going to do an image size again, as I showed you before. This, you're going to keep, this is 72. And what you're going to do, and right now I'm going to see what size I'm using this as. Hold on one second. Let me mask release. Let's see, I'm showing it in pixels, 254, oops. I'm showing it as 262 by 160 pixels to 262 wide, pixel wise. So I'm going to change this to pixels. Okay, hold on. I just went into Illustrator and checked the size of how I was using that. So I'm going to change it to like 275. Let's do 275. The original, see how I just changed that. Keep that resample checked, 72. Click OK. Oh, hold on. Go back. This is how small it is. File, save as. You're going to save this as a, just save it as a JPEG. We'll save it to the desktop. Or should I save it as a TIFF? Let me think about this. I'm going to save it as a TIFF. And everything else looks good. It's just a lower res. Then I'm going to go back into Illustrator. It still might show kind of pixelated. We'll see. I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to place that JPEG, TIFF that I just created. I'm just going to click right directly on it. Yeah, see, this is a little pixelated. So this might show. It's a little smaller, so I'll get it just a little smaller here. Sorry if you hear my dog here. Oh, I gotta do another box. Yeah, this is probably gonna show pixelated because it looks pixelated as is. So, I'm trying to think of the way around this here. What I might want to do, let me go back. Let me go back to my Photoshop. Let me undo. And all I'm going to do, let's go back to, let me go back to the original. Let's save that. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Smartest way around this is keeping it at low res, but maybe a bigger size, the original size. So let me open up the original file again. Okay, can you guys, let me stop sharing that. You guys can see this here. Okay, Daniel, sorry, I just saw your message there. You probably just left. Go to image size. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep it. Oh, it's going to be really big though. Let me do something a little different. Let me go to 300 resolution. And then I'm going to hit resample. And I'm going to take this down to, so I'm going to keep the resolution high, 300. And that's okay, because when you export it out as a PDF, it's going to export it out as a lower res PDF anyway. We're just keeping the resolution high so the quality doesn't get, it doesn't get pixelated. But we're going to take the width and height down. And I'm doing it in inches so I can see, the ratio here. So let's do, I'm going to do like 4 inches by 2, resample at 300. So you can see it's not 65 megabytes anymore, it's 2.6. I could even go maybe even bigger. Let's do 5. And click OK, 5 by 3. And then I'm going to save as a TIFF file. And I'm going to name this as, let's do low res, just so I know that that's the file that I just did. We're okay with that. All right, now I'm going to go back to Illustrator. Doop. We're going to place that file in here. Low res. There we go. Okay, that actually doesn't look too bad. We'll see how the PDF does. So I'm going to do a clipping mask and then bring all of this forward. All of my copy. The only thing that is missing on here is that fadeaway that I put on there originally, so it's not faded as nicely, so I would have to go back and do that. But for the sake of just kind of showing you guys, make sure you're not saving it as a PDF, but an Illustrator file, so you have a working file to work with here. Now I'm going to save it as a PDF. Smallest file size is fine. Let's see how that looks. See if that looks any better here. 1 second. All right, so it looks a little better. It's still kind of pixelated though. It's still kind of pixelated, but it doesn't look that bad. So what I probably would do is just increase that size, maybe like to 10 inches. That might fix it. I left it to 5 inches. The bigger, probably the better, the resolution. I just didn't want the file sizes to go really, really large. But if you're kind of coming into that issue, the logo looks good, it's just the image. But if you're coming into that issue, of course you're going to need to convert it anyway into Photoshop, but that's kind of how you would play around with that. So maybe my inches are a little bit too small still. I did like 5 inches wide by like 3 or something like that. So maybe the next round, I would try 10 inches at 300 pixels per inch for the resolution. And then obviously I would put the fade in like I did before. But for the most part, it looks a little off balance. I probably would put that fade in because I have more darkness over here, kind of made it balance more on this side with it more dark on this side. So that's the only like criticism I would take that I would give myself in this particular ad, besides, you know, the pixelation of it. But just make sure you're viewing it in 100%. You know, if it looks really, really bad, then obviously play around with the size dimensions. All right. Any questions about that assessment? Nope. Okay. I'm going to take a short 5-minute break. And then when we get back, if you guys want to show any of your work, have any questions, we'll definitely do that at that point. I'm kind of at the end point of the lecture, so maybe we'll just kind of wrap it up if you guys don't have much to talk about. But if you do, get your stuff ready, and I'll meet you guys back here in about 5 minutes. Sound good? All right. Okay, can you guys hear me? You can probably hear my dog too. Sorry, guys. The dog's going crazy. All right, Jennifer, welcome. We're just wrapping things up. Great to have you here, though. Oh, okay. Sorry, Lisa. Lisa's having difficulties. It's the week of technology failing, right? All right, guys, if you guys want to have any questions, want to go over anything, want to show what you're working on, progressing on, get extra feedback on, let me know. If you want me to show anything extra, let me know. At this point, I'm just going to open it up for you guys. Okay, let's see here. I don't know. Let me see if she's... No, I don't think so. Maybe just log out and log back in, Lisa.
I can share mine if you're ready.
Okay, Jennifer, let me stop sharing. Go ahead.
Let's hit share, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so this is my ad that I did, but you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always,
like, what's that?
always good to check.
Right. So I don't love the colors because my original presentation was I was kind of looking towards like a police officer vibe, you know, with my my presentation from last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I pulled the colors out of the image, which I think makes it look cohesive, but I don't love that. And I don't know if I should just leave it or whether I should try to adjust it based on my initial idea of like that, because it's still blue. It's just there wasn't black. Sorry.
So I think what would answer your question, maybe make it easier for you to decide, is to create 2 more artboards and just play around with different color schemes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then kind of hone in on what you think works best. I don't think that this is bad. I think that it's smart to keep it cohesive with the image. I would maybe suggest maybe a pop-out color, possibly. I don't know. Kind of play around with it and see.
Okay.
The one thing I did notice is the logo that you're using. It looks stretched or something. It doesn't look like it's the original size.
Is it? That's weird. Okay.
It's more vertical than wide. You know what I mean? Like it's a little stretched vertically.
Okay. Well, then I'll have to replace
How
it.
did you place that in there?
I just placed it and then, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I thought I did it right. I usually hold shift down, but
okay.
I'll do it again.
It might be. It might be. It just looks a little, it might just be me a little off from what the original looked like, but just double check it and see.
It could be okay. It could be the words too.
Oh, did you place that in? Show me how you placed that in there.
Okay. My computer's such a mess. I'm sorry. Hang on.
Okay.
It's bad. Oh, come on. I know it's in here. Well, that's not what I'm looking for.
Folder that you keep everything in?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's downloads. That's why. Okay. Because it all comes off of that anyway, but it's in alphabetical order. So I'm like, I at least know what it's called.
Yeah, I would keep that, in a folder off of the downloads folder, if you know what I mean, just so that you have it easily. You can get to it very easily. Okay.
I mean, it might be.
I don't know if it's just from the screen sharing or what. It almost looks like it's not even high res. Almost looks like pixelated too.
Really?
I don't know if it's just my view or what. You're at 43%. Do me a favor, just open it up in you know, its own window.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah,
file
it's
open.
actually here.
There you go.
I've got, yeah.
Do a select all, group it, and then just do a Command C.
Do what?
A Command C, copy.
Okay, and place it in.
Yeah, then just do a paste. You'll need to scroll that down, but I just want to see if it's just how it's being viewed, or if there's something else going on here.
Put it next to each other. I mean,
can you zoom in, like, so it's like 100%? See how it's 43 at the very bottom? There you go. Okay. That might have just been the viewing option, that it just looked pixelated. Yeah, it looks good. You're good.
Okay.
Sometimes it does that, especially through like how we're sharing it here. It almost looks pixelated from afar, but you know, when you zoom in, it's fine.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, looks good.
So yeah, I played with these words for a while, but I like that this is kind of pointing at smart lock. You know, it's like an arrow almost.
I would make the now capitalized.
Okay.
Just to keep it consistent. And then you may want to capitalize every word in your headline, like expect more. I would leave out of not capitalized. Let's see how that looks here. I think you can do out, but not of.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it consistent like that. And then I would just try to gain more space in between the logo and the headline. Now, I don't know how you would do that. Just it all kind of runs together right now. If you could just gain a little bit more space, just making it a tad smaller, those elements, I think that would make it easier to read.
Yeah, it breathes better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a little better. Okay.
What if you made more bigger and smart larger too? You know, like make the other words maybe smaller, keep those the same size, and make those like 3 or 4 point sizes smaller. Just for like a, yeah. Go down a little bit more. I'll tell you when. Right there, like 36. Try 36 for all of the other words. You don't want it to be so it's significant, like almost similar.
Right. 36. Oh no. Okay. Oh, but we want the smart too, right?
Yeah.
What about your? Should I do that too?
Yeah, that should be small.
Sorry,
no, you're fine. I got a dog barking in my background too, so it's okay. And then maybe try to make more and smart a little bit larger.
Okay.
Just kind of play around with it. It may or may not work. Keep going, keep going. Okay, that's about 47. Okay. And I would bump down out of your to the next. Wait, expect more out of. No, that's good. That's good. Yours, like that breaks good right there. Yeah, it just kind of, I don't know. I'm thinking that. I'm trying to think.
I feel like it's crowded, but then when I try to move it over, then it looks like its own separate island, you know?
Maybe try to get your headline on one line. See what that looks like if you can. You'll want to break it so that your goes back up. There you go. And then.
I mean, I could, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hit enter on that. That's weird. Okay.
Now that we made it so that the words are a little bigger, I'm trying to think. Just my luck.
Yeah, I like that better, but then I'm
You'll have to center that now because that's not going to look right if it's not centered. Like you're going to have to center all of that just to see. Yeah, I know you won't be able to read it because of that picture. Maybe move that picture out of the way for now. Pull the headline up a little bit. You want that? Yeah, right there. Good. And then that's a little off balance. I'm not quite sure. I like the fact up right now. Okay. How about right next to now? How about upgrade app now or something? How about download app now? Because then that might be more balanced.
So like download here.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think of how it would look balanced wise. Download and then app now. And then see if that looks more balanced with the two words side by side and the icon in the middle, which you'll have to, it's a little bit more balanced. There we go. Center that a little bit. There you go. And then I would center that with the headline. Oh, it's not going to center it perfectly because look at all the space in front of your download word. I'm not sure if there's like a, take your type tool or yeah, pull that in. Good. Okay. Make sure that's centered. Shift select your word, there you go, your words in that, and you can center that.
That look good?
That looks pretty good. And then shift select your headline and your background square. And then go up to a line and choose the second icon. And then bump it over with your arrow tool to the left. There you go. Now that's perfectly centered. Oh, go to the right a little bit. There you go. All right. So, you know, just maybe making more and smart even bigger at this point, really exaggerating it since you have space.
Okay.
Just, and maybe make those lighter. I don't know. Instead of darker. You know how you have your as the lighter blue, maybe it's more and smart are the lighter ones.
Like that, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. There you go. Yep. Yeah, I would probably make them that light blue instead of the white, just so it's not so much of a change. It's just a subtle lighter color, whatever you have that you're in. And then I would make your just the regular blue just to see what that looks like.
I italicized yours, so I can change that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think that's okay to do. I just think the keywords, and I like the your italicized because you're not downplaying that either. It's a little different. Expect more out of your smart lock. So more and smart are emphasized. Download app now. You could probably downsize download app now with the icon just about probably 20%. And it looks like the icon needs to go to the right slightly.
Yeah. Yeah, when I centered it,
it got messed up.
And so take this down 20%, you think?
Yeah, just do a shift select with the icon. Shift select the icon with that, the logo. Do a group, Command G. And then do a scale. So double click on your scale tool in your toolbar.
What? I have a scale tool?
Yeah, it's right under your eraser.
I go up here usually.
Yeah, I mean, you can do, you know, that's fine. And then I would go like try 80%. Yep, perfect. See how that just made the headline pop a little bit more? they're not fighting together anymore, and you can pull that down a little bit closer, just a couple bumps down. There you go, right there. And then the bottom information, you know, and you can still play around with this, but the bottom information is getting a little bit hard to read. I would probably make that a little lighter and pull it in just a little bit more so it has more margin space around it.
Yeah, the spaces I can.
Yeah.
Just one.
Try making that all capitalized too, maybe. I don't know. Try something different with that copy. Go to your type character palette.
Like this. Oh.
Oh, go ahead. And then go to the very top right-hand corner of your, yep, you got it. And then make it smaller point size. That's the leading.
Oh.
That's okay. It's right next to it. You want to, there you go. Oh, I would make it like, that's perfect. And then move it over just a little bit and up a little bit. Make sure it's centered. Okay, so that's getting, yeah, it's, you know, you might even want to put like even like a bar down there of a different color to really make that pop. Play around with it. I don't know where you're going to put your image, so you might want to play around with that too. You might even put that, there you go. You might even put that image behind there and just screen it back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Just texture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I probably would make that, yeah, I like that copy. I don't mind it that it's a little bluer too. How about let's try your image again. Let's go place that in there. That looks pretty good. And try to make that really big in the background.
So I think the problem with this image though is when I took it into Photoshop, it was like, it was only 3 inches tall. So I was afraid to try to blow it up too much.
3 inches tall.
Yeah, like in Photoshop because you said to go in and
okay.
Adjust it.
Should be a high res. Yeah, it should be high res though. Interesting. All right, try to center that so that lock becomes almost like the middle of your area there. And then pull it down a little bit so you can see the whole lock. And then what I would do is just give it an opacity of like, try like 30% or something.
Yeah, so much stuff.
And then, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just thinking here. So I can't see, there's like a discount thing on top of your screen.
Well, yeah, and I don't know how to get rid of that. It keeps trying to tell me whatever. Anyway. So frustrating. I can't see.
If you have a Mac, you don't need it.
Right.
Those offers, you know what I mean? Okay, so at the very top, see where it says opacity? On the top left by your clip group, and then to the right of that, it's opacity. Yeah, you just want to dial that down.
60 maybe?
Yeah, try like 30 or 40. You can always. Is your copy in front of that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it
is. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of play around with it. See what you like. I don't mind that it's a texture back there as long as you can kind of see what it is. I see it's like digital looking. Yeah. So, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you think is best. I think that is a nice kind of way about it. The only thing is I probably would copy that image and put it on the left side too to balance it out.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Kind of play around with it.
It's like this part of it.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. It might be okay like that. Or I would make it really big so that it stretches all the way across to the left.
Right.
And you don't have to see the whole lock, but you see some of it.
At least the key part.
Right.
Let me try.
Move that down. There you go. And then you could do your clipping mask just to see what it looks like. Draw a rectangle over top.
Like that? Does it have to be the whole thing?
Well, you're gonna have to draw a rectangle to go over top of that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Like a new one. It's okay. Because it won't clip mask whatever image or rectangle that you have in there. Okay. And then take your selection tool and then shift select that image, go up to object, clipping mask, make.
That's why.
There you
I
go.
tried to do that before and it didn't work.
Yeah, it looks like the image is definitely pixelated, so we'll take a look at it. It looks like your type is
it's
below it.
Now it is because I did the clipping mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll need to adjust that. So just go up to object, clipping mask, release. No, it's still behind it. So what I would do is just pull that up, both the logo and the headline.
Yeah. We're just here. That way.
There you go.
Do you like it in front of? I kind of like that.
There you go.
So yeah, it is pixelated. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this approach is good. I'll take a look at the image here because I swear it is high res, but I'll take a look here in a second. But do you like that? Do you think that's working?
Yeah, I like that better a lot.
You know what's nice is that the way you have your headline there, the more and the smart are very symmetrical, so it gives that balanced look too.
You're right.
So think about security. You want to feel balanced. You want to feel secure. You want to, if anything's off in terms of making it look like it's off balance, it's going to give that connotation. So you really want to keep that stability also in your elements of your ad. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Looks good.
All right. So what I want to do, I'm going to share, I'm going to grab the screen here real quick. But great job, by the way. And we can all learn from each other for sure. It's like one of those things. I'm going to open up that image that you just placed in there because I just want to see what's going on with that. Because I can't remember what the size was when we downsized it. And you might be right, obviously. I just can't remember.
No, I'd rather you look at it because if I'm wrong, then I did something wrong. Yeah.
It's an EPS, it looks like. Maybe that's probably part of it too. Oh, it says resize when you open it. Okay, hold on one second. Wait a second. Didn't realize it said that. Hold on.
I thought it looked good, Jenny.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. 3x2 at 300. Okay, hold on.
So I try to keep it, because it's only 3.25 inches tall, I tried to keep it within that so that it didn't look pixelated, but you know, it's a billboard too, so.
Yeah, you might even want to try maybe another image. Doing the same thing, maybe the other image that I used, you might want to try. The only bad thing about, I guess, not bad, but one of the things that is kind of not so good is you guys need to stick with the imagery given to you guys, which happens in everyday life, you know. Just use these images the client will give you. So yeah, so this is 3x2. So if you use it any larger than 3x2 at 300 pixels per inch, it's subject to being pixelated. So what you might want to do, if this could work too, if you know Photoshop really well, you might want to go up to image size when you open this original, I'm sorry, not image size, canvas size instead of image size. If you know Photoshop pretty well, or you think you can do this, the width, so what do we have for the width of our billboard? We have, what is it, 12? Is it 12 inches?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do 12 inches, all right? So this is the width that we need to fill. So with that being said, you know, you could do something where you're duplicating that and then you're kind of extending this out. And what you would need to do is just copy that layer. See how I just copied that layer? And you would just add to this. And what you would do is put a mask on this top one. So you would hit the mask layer and you know, kind of drag your gradient tool over top so that you have this mask on there. And then so that mask is taking, you know, part of that image of the right away so that you're able to extend this, and then just make another copy and just keep going on and on and on. Actually, I'll make a copy of the mask. And that way I don't even have to, let's see here. And I'll just set it below. Okay. And what you do is you just keep extending it. It kind of can take a little bit of time, but you can extend this all the way to the right so the pattern, it becomes the same. And then what you could eventually do is just cut this piece out and, you know, I'm just going to shift select, copy and paste just this section. Let's see if I can do that here. Oh, no, it's pasted something else in here. Hold on. I might have to flatten these layers first. So flatten, so it becomes one layer. Actually, I probably should have done it a different way here. And then, yeah, we could just copy and paste this part. So I'm just going to take the marquee tool. This is if you want to try this. You don't have to. Just copy and paste that. And then what you would do is just throw a mask on that, on each one of these, so that it blends together. Now, it may not be as bad because you have a lot of information on top, so you may not see all the repeated elements here. But you could throw masks on this as well. So this one is this one, so you could throw a mask on that. So that, see how this line and this line, oh, let's see if it blends in a little bit here, hold on. I think I have my, there we go. Ah, let me delete this. I think I did this wrong here. Try to just blend this in a little bit better. Where's my, okay, it's hard to see because I have all my, there we go, my stuff. So I just kind of make it so that that edge is a little more fuzzy. So then, you know, this kind of blends it a little bit better. It's just a little bit more work. But, and you might not even need to do that because this is kind of pixelated anyway. Not pixelated, but, you know, abstract. And then what you would do, you can flatten all layers if you want at this point. Just save it as a TIFF file or something. Just save background. This is if you want to keep it so you can see the whole lock and the background together. TIFF file, you would go back to your Illustrator. Where's my, there we go. And then you would just place that in there. Is this the right size?
It's not as tall, but it's the right length.
Okay, so that's something that, yeah, we'd have to adjust too, but you get it. Like, that's the background.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you get it. But you know what I mean? Like, so that your copy will be over here. You won't see the repeated edges if you don't want to do the whole, like, montaging it together.
Well, especially if you're dropping the opacity a good bit. Then.
Yeah, and you can drop, yeah, you can drop the opacity even here. You could just make it a little brighter if you want. Depending on.
You do a copy of the lock itself and mirror image it so that it.
Yep. You could have it so it becomes the middle image, and then you have the right, left side, you know, continue with this information. You just have to paste it over here. I mean, there's some things that you need to do on the right here to kind of make that blend in, but, you know, just to give you some options.
I blended that out already because it does kind of an abrupt stop there.
Yeah, yeah. Some options to think about, and everybody else to think about, because sometimes we don't think about maybe different ways that we can change the image to work for a background. Sometimes we just say, oh, well, that's how it is and that's it. But if you know Photoshop really well and you can mask things and do different things to it, yeah, I mean, definitely if it works for it, go for it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and watch that again probably later.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of got lost in the whole montage thing, but I did it very quickly too. But good job. I think you have a good start, and I think it's definitely, you know, coming around to what you may use for your billboard.
Okay. Well, sorry. Take up all this.
No problem. Good job. Thanks for sharing your work.
Of course.
Does anybody else want to show anything, or are we all good to go? We got about 6 minutes here.
I'm good.
You're good. Who's that, Lisa? Okay, at least I can hear.
Yeah,
Just can't type.
I can now. I
Oh,
restarted.
good.
I think it got too hot. I don't know. It didn't. You know, Jenny, when you said that it would warn me, but it didn't. But I ended up restarting it, and now it works. So
There you go.
I was freaking out for a minute.
Well, I'm glad it works.
Yes, me too.
You guys are overworking your computers, right?
Yeah.
It's all that coding.
Oh my God, that's awful. Ugh.
All right. Any questions or any last thoughts?
No, ma'am. Have a great day.
All right. You guys too. I'm glad I showed up on the right day.
Yeah, you were. Especially me and Jenny. We were like, oh my God, where is she at? What's wrong? I hope she's okay.
I know. I got your emails and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just screwed up the day. I did it the day before. So
Yeah.
we all kind of make those mistakes again. That was the first time I've ever done that in my 6 years of teaching. So, but thanks for checking up on me. I felt the love.
Yeah. We have a little group, you know, that we get together, sometimes Zoom and all that stuff. And all of us were like, what's going on? Where is she? I emailed her. Jenny's like, I emailed her. You know?
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, guys.
Well, it kind of worked out because we had 2 live sessions that overlapped each other. So the fact that you did it first was better because then we could actually attend the other one.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess it happened.
We wanted to go together when we were all like, we want to go to April's class.
Aw. All right. Well, hopefully I won't screw that up again.
We were just
All right. Huh?
We were just worried.
Aw. That's so nice. Well, thanks for checking in.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. You enjoy your weekend. If I don't hear back from you, I know spring is in 20 days, so we can do the countdown now, right?
Right.
I know I am.
The winter, we didn't.
Ugh. I'm so over it. We're supposed to get snow today, so we'll see.
No, thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the boards.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.